What's up, everyone? Diego Solta with Listener's Notes. Today, I wanted to go back a week or two and, record a review for the new Brockhampton album, Saturation. I know it's been a while since I've done a video, but I love this album so much that I just have to make a video on it regardless. Brockhampton is a pretty massive collective, actually, fronted by Kevin Abstract and Dom McLennan. There's like, it seems on their Twitter, there's like 15 members, though I'm sure some do mixing and mastering, some do art design, some are just producers. So there's a lot of people here, though you may not hear about all of them if you're having a conversation about Brockhampton. And this is the first Brockhampton project that I've heard. I was familiar with Kevin Abstract going in, and I remember liking his album American Boyfriend a lot more than a lot of other critics, actually. And it was one of those albums where I feel like I got to know Kevin more or less, at least as much as a fan can get to know an artist, which was really cool. And going into this new album here, I just noticed there was a lot of hype surrounding this group and the singles, and I see why. I mean, there wasn't this kind of hype when they dropped their first mixtape. There were people on Twitter. There was people like Sean C. and The Needle Drop and Luke James talking about it. Like, there was a lot of buzz about this. And like I said, I can see why this project is consistently loaded with great tracks. The instrumentals on this album are all fantastic. They have sort of a homespun and indie feel to them, but they are still loaded with a lot of high quality sounds and textures and just booming bass, and they really give this group a lot of personality, and then the vocal performances add upon that personality. And having so many different vocalists on this album, the performances all sound like fresh and new consistently, and I think that adds a lot to the listening experience. I want to start off by talking about the first track, Heat, which enters with this grimy, gritty bass line and these punchy drums, and that's just topped with these fiery flows. Even the first line of this song is just dope. It goes, "I have pipe dreams of crack rock and stripper poles," making a play on words with the phrase pipe, crack rock, stripper poles. But yeah, I love hearing so many different rappers and singers on these songs who are just all consistently talented. I feel like Brockhampton has a similar rickety and young nature to them that I could compare to maybe an Odd Future, but Odd Future's lineup was just so inconsistent. Besides Earl, Tyler, the creator, and Frank, nobody on Odd Future had any business rapping or singing, at least at that point when they first came out and they did their first OF tapes. The majority of that group eventually developed their skills and got better, guys like Amo Genesis and Haji Beats, but Brockhampton, this early into their career, they're already consistently great as far as rapping and singing and just putting up performance on there. They sound like they have already gotten through that hump and already practiced and developed their own sounds. Another track I wanted to talk about was Gold. It has this really nice laid back beat with an occasional synth that pops in during the verses, and while Kevin Abstract is singing the hook, the beat becomes like really layered and serene with all these like mellow drones. It's actually a really nice song. It has a good vibe to it, and again, the verses and the hook, they're all great. It's a catchy song. The flows are fantastic. And then the track afterwards, Star, again, everything I could ever want from these guys. You got a beat that has some trunk knocking bass. There's just some funny, clever verses with a bunch of superstar references, hence the name Star. And that's really all you need for a great rap song. Just have a good beat, have some entertaining flows and deliveries and cadences, and just occasionally say something funny or interesting. And these guys just do that consistently on almost every song here. And I wouldn't say this is a completely hip-hop album, though. Like, there's some more like R&B tracks, there's some like indie pop type of tracks, but even on those songs, the amount of sounds and textures in the instrumentals is still fantastic. The singing is usually fantastic. That's just how this album is built. I mean, consistently through this album, I feel like I enjoy every track up until maybe the second third of the album. Maybe there's just a song or two that just really didn't sit with me well. It's not that they're bad, it's just that they're kind of mediocre or solid, and you know, in itself that's fine, but in comparison to the rest of the album, it's kind of a noticeable drop off. And it's maybe like 2 or 3 songs actually. To name a couple, "Swim" is one of them. I like the instrumental with the whirling synth and the beat, but the auto tune towards the back end of that track over this really like homespun indie instrumental, it doesn't sound right to me. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't mesh. It just sounds really awkward. Again, not terrible, but the song is not one of my favorites. And then the song "Cash" is another song that, you know, it's fine, but it's really not that. It doesn't stand out in the track listing at all in terms of its sound. It's kind of mediocre. It doesn't really have a defining melody or defining characteristics. It just doesn't grab my attention. I know not every song needs to be a banger, and there's plenty of good ballads on this album, like "Face," like "Milk," but this track, "Cash," it's just, there's nothing about it that makes me want to just specifically put on "Cash" again at all, actually. Even with those gripes, and like I said, there's a couple other songs that I'm questioning, like Tupac's a little short, but you know, I digress. Even with all of that, I still love this album, and it's still consistently enjoyable, because even those low points aren't necessarily bad songs. They're just not as fantastic as everything else, but it really doesn't kill the listening experience at all. Songs like "Bank," "Fake," "Milk," "Face," "Boys," again, more highlights. I love the beat on "Bank." It's just so freaking loud and just aggressive. Also, "Bump" has a good beat. "Fake" and has a really nice hook. It's really catchy, and you know, I don't mind the pitch shifted vocals on it at all. I'm pretty sure that's Kevin Abstract, but someone will evidently correct me when I'm wrong. But performance was fun. It had personality. I'm not usually a fan of some pitch shifting like that, but I can let it slide. I just enjoyed it in that case. And "Face" is just this really smooth, sensual song. I love the hook. The high-pitched vocals remind me of what Childish Gambino was doing on Redbone, that kind of singing, those falsettos, and it's just gorgeous. I love that song. I love that performance, and I just love this album. I don't mean to be hyperbolic, but this is the most consistent hip-hop collective group of this size since maybe in a while. We'll use the phrase in a while. I want to name a legendary group, but I'll hold off until their next album, which I've heard is coming in summer from Twitter. But you know, anything could happen. It could be delayed to like the fall or next year. Either way, they've confirmed they have some new music on the way, and they really impressed me with this album. They did a lot of great things. This is gonna be sort of my summer hip hop album as of now. It's just one of those things that I've just completely enjoyed. I can't wait to see more from them, and I would like some more solo work from Kevin Abstract and Dom and just whoever else. I'll be paying attention to this group. So let me know what you think of this album. Let me know what you think of Brockhampton. If you're a hip-hop fan and you're like, wow, there hasn't been a lot of hip-hop this year, check this album out. Give this a shot. I mean, I'm telling you, this album is good. It's really good. It's 87 out of 100 kind of good. And yeah, that's all I have to say about it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next video.